So today I decided to combine the exercise gameplay of Ring Fit Adventure with Final Fantasy XIV. So in order to run in game, you have to run in real life. And to make things way worse, I decided to turn the act of squatting into an input. I'm excited to show y'all the new expansion, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Re-Exercise. I was playing 14 too often and not really exercising, so I came up with this idea. Ring Fit Adventure is probably the best exercise game to date. The way that the game detects running and other exercises is so cool that I wanted to bring that to 14. And honestly, I think it worked out pretty okay. This was me at the start of a 14 session looking pretty thick, and this is what I look like after playing 14 for an hour and a half with the Ring Fit controller. Y'all, this is a workout. And speaking about a workout, let's talk about how the Ring Fit controller works out. Before we start, I need to clear up a misconception people had about this controller. This is not a Final Fantasy XIV mod. The Ring Fit controller does not read or edit any of 14's files. The way that this works is that the Joy-Cons are modded to reflect the control schemes of Ring Fit Adventure. 14 will read the Joy-Cons as any regular controller, and gameplay will function just like any regular gamepad. So not only can you play 14 by literally exercising, you can technically run dungeons and do combat with it too. Here's a quick rundown on how I designed the Ring Fit mod for Final Fantasy XIV. First off, the main goal is to make running in real life control running in game. This is done by doing some really gross math and collecting data from the accelerometer on the leg strap Joy-Con. So whenever you jog or run, the accelerometer will return values within a certain range. Technically, you can cheese this by just shaking the Joy-Con in your hand, but you can also do this in Ring Fit Adventure too. With all this data, I created two modes for the Ring Fit mod. Mode number 1 is called My Knees Are Too Old for This, and mode number 2 is called Y'all, I'm Way Too Thick for This. Mode 1 is the pure version of the controller where running in real life makes your character run forward. This mode is great for just running around 14 or grinding your gatherer classes. Speaking of running around, I wonder how long it would take for someone to actually run across Erosia. Like from one side of the map to the other for a charity or something. This would be a really cool challenge run, huh? Alright, I'll stop. Mode number 2 is designed so you can attempt to do combat while exercising. Your joystick for movement is locked until you start running. And the best feature of this mode is that when you squat, you activate the skill that's mapped on the down D-pad. For example, my aggro ability on my tank is activated when I squat. I'm about to get a nice leg day doing wall-to-wall pulls as a Dark Knight. This Ring Fit setup will take some time to get used to, and I don't recommend playing as a healer. I legit believe that you can get a good workout in trust dungeons using the Ring Fit mod. Now that I explained the basics of the controller, let's talk about setting it up. First, I want to let y'all know that with this tech, you need to agree to a couple of things. To start, don't use the Ring Fit mod to bypass 14's TOS or ruin someone else's experience. There are two ways to set up this controller mod, and both don't break TOS as they do not mod 14 at all. However, if you're not comfortable with the Ring Fit controller, please only use it in trust dungeons or with friends. I love how great the 14 community is, and I don't want something that I built end up making someone else's experience worse. There's two versions of this mod, one that's free and one that requires buying hardware. If you're like me buying every your stolen merch ever made, you probably want to start with the free version. This is a program made by Ring Runner MG that allows you to connect your Joy-Cons to your PC via Bluetooth adapter. This will convert your Joy-Cons into the Ring Fit setup and should run on 14. I say should because I haven't done this myself with this program, but I've seen this program work for other games like Fall Guys and Subnautica. The downside to this version of the mod is that it only works for PC, but at least it's free. I left a link to his project in the description below. Option 2 of the Ring Fit mod is what I use, and it also works for the PlayStation version of 14 as well. In fact, this is what I use to play Breath of the Wild and Dark Souls with the Ring Fit Adventure controller. However, the downside is that it's really pricey and it requires hardware and scripting to set up. First, you need to find hardware that can convert the Joy-Con inputs into any console or PC. I left a link in the description for the one that I use, which is sadly $140 at the moment. Next, you need a script that changes the Joy-Cons into the Ring Fit Adventure control scheme. To get the script, you can visit my controller bending website where I host tutorials on how to do all my controller mods. Once you connect the hardware to your PC or console, you can load the script and finally play 14 by literally squatting. I swear, if I keep playing 14 like this, I'll be able to cosplay Orion Gaines by the time Endwalker comes out. But until then, I think it's time to give my final thoughts on the build. Overall, I'm excited to see how healthier I can get by literally playing 14. I hope this video doesn't cause too many issues, and if you need help setting it up, hit me up on Twitter. My Buster Store controller is a little behind schedule as it's actually pretty hard to build. However, I'm very excited to see how this controller ends up. I just hope I don't accidentally hit my monitor or anything during testing because that'd be kind of embarrassing, huh?